So a friend asked me about masturbation or sexual self-pleasure in relationship. Is it healthy? Is it good or bad? Is it wrong or right to be masturbating or have your own sexual self-pleasure practice when you are in a relationship? And the answer to that is a little more complex and layered than we may think. And it's not about wrong or right. It's about agreements. It's about your own integrity. It's about your intention behind your actions. It's about why do you do what you do? What place is it coming from? Is it coming from a place of hiding yourself? Is it coming from a place of shame? Is it coming from a place of wanting to explore but are embarrassed to explore? What does it mean to you? Why do you feel you are masturbating? What's happening before you masturbate? Is it a habit or some type of compulsion? What is the feeling after you masturbate? So let's unpack this a little more, right? So there's no wrong or right about whether you should or shouldn't masturbate if you're in a relationship. It's about you and your partner, what each other's needs are and how you're expressing those needs to each other. I've worked with couples that have a self-pleasure practice. Sometimes they like their partner to watch, sometimes they like to do that on their own. What I have found is, though, that even in my own relationship, is that honesty is really liberating. And so if there's something that you wish to explore, if there's some expression you wish to have within the dynamic of the relationship or even outside of the relationship, sharing that and being honest about what your needs are and what you're feeling is very important. But here's the crux to that. You will feel less inclined to share if you don't feel safe. If you have a feeling that you may be shamed, judged, ridiculed, rejected, abandoned, criticized by your partner, the likelihood of sharing a thought or a feeling or a situation or sexual exploration that you wish to delve into, the likelihood of you sharing that, it's minimal. And you'll probably hide it. You'll either repress it within yourself, which I did for so many years, or you'll do it in the shadows. So let's talk about the shadows for a little. People come to me, particularly men, and say, well, I masturbate in my relationship. I said, great. Does your wife know? Does your partner know? No, I do it in secret. Do you watch pornography? Again, nothing wrong or right with pornography. Do you watch pornography or do you need pornography in order to masturbate? Some men will say no, some men will say yes. Those that say yes have a compulsion, or it's not so much an addiction. Sex and love, we have this term sex and love addiction. It's more sex and love compulsion. And there's a distinction, but now is not necessarily the time to go into that. However, there's this propensity it's this neurological, physiological, emotional habit and pattern that we're engaged in. And so what does the masturbation give so many of these men? It gives them a sense of relief. It gives them, and not physiological relief, it gives them a sense of emotional satisfaction. They feel seen. They feel heard and appreciated. There's no judgment in the sexual expression. So they're in this self-pleasure practice that carries no judgment and shame. However, they're hiding it from the world. They're hiding it from the person that they're in love with or that they care about, that the person that's meant to trust them and that they trust. There's conflicting neurological, behavioral, emotional messages being sent back and forth within the individual and outside of the individual, within the dynamics of the relationship. And so it's not a matter of wrong or right. It's why are you unable to talk to your partner about this? Is it a combination of you and them? Is it more you're stuck in your shame? Is it more them, that they are highly critical, judgmental? Maybe they're rigid in their belief systems? Can you look at your sexuality and your sexual history? Has there been a continuity of authentic expression in your sexual history? Have you explored your sexuality? Not just whether you're heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, or whatever your orientation is, but have you explored fantasies within your sexuality? And maybe you explore them on your own with masturbation or self-pleasure practice. But if you're hiding that, I'm not mean hiding it from the world, you don't have to scream it from the rooftops, the rafters. But if you're hiding that from your intimate long-term partner, whether you're in a monogamous or non-monogamous relationship, you're hiding part of yourself from someone that you're meant to be intimate with. So there's no right or wrong whether you're masturbating or not masturbating. But what's happening, what's leading up to the masturbation or to the need for it? Is it it's a stress reliever and that's where you go to? Is it because you're unsatisfied in your own sex life? Is it because you need more variety or you want to be in a non-monogamous relationship, but you find yourself in a monogamous relationship for whatever reason that may be? Society, familial values, cultural values, fear of exploration, fear of trying something different or being different. What is it that is driving you towards masturbation? Get clear on that. Maybe you just have a high sex drive. Maybe you could practice self-mastery over your sexual ejaculation. Maybe you can explore different avenues. But more importantly, if you are hiding it, why are you hiding it from your partner? What is stopping you from fully expressing yourself? In long-term relationships, in healthy relationships, in any relationship where you can be seen shame-free, in any relationship where you can be appreciated and respected, where there's mutual trust in that relationship, your sexuality can be more explored. There is more freedom in your sexual expression, whether it's masturbation or something else that intrigues you. Some people like to be seen when they're in a self-pleasure practice. Maybe you can incorporate more neo-tantric principles in your relationship dynamic, in your sexual dynamic, in your sex, essentially. Whatever it is that interests you, do you have the courage and the self-worth, the self-esteem, the belief in self to be able to have those conversations with your partner? That's perhaps the most important aspect of all of this. And paying attention to what's happening before and what's happening after. Do you need it in order to feel better? Need it. Think about that. Do you rely on it? If you don't have it, you're frustrated. It affects your mood and your emotional state, your personality. And just asking, what do you need in a relationship sexually from your partner? And understanding that this can change. It's allowed to be in flux. But can you have the constant communication with your partner? Can you express to them what you find attractive, what you don't? I know in the past for me, I've struggled to do that. And when I do, in the relationship that I'm in now, where it's so open and honest, in the way that we communicate and share with each other, it's less about a fear of being judged or critiqued or being shamed, but more just moving out of the personal, the historical habit of hiding from the world and hiding from myself and hiding from my partner. So it's just a gentle reminder of, okay, how do I move into that? How do I step into my power per se? Because when we're in the shadows, we're not really in our power, we're hiding. We may appear to be in our power, and so we compensate in other ways. We may dominate our friends or dominate our conversations. We may dominate the workplace. We may exert more power and control. We may be more aggressive and angry. That was my story. To compensate, not for a lack of sexual expression, but for a lack of sexual expression with respect to owning who I was to the people that it mattered to, i.e. my partners. There's so much shame around our sexuality, such a taboo topic. But we have to shift that because there's so much connection and intimacy and spirituality and growth and expansion and healing that comes from sex, sexual healing, sexuality. And so whether you masturbate in a relationship or not is not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It is the circumstances surrounding that. What you make that mean and how you feel about that. So perhaps, if this video has intrigued you, give some thought to where can you express at a deeper level more authentically and step into the courage of doing so. And I get it. It requires self-worth. You've got to be prepared for potential rejection. But can you step into deeper levels of self-worth and own who you are and own what your needs are without shame? And that does require doing the deeper inner work, healing the past, and ensuring that you are a safe harbor for others as well, and demonstrating that so that they know that, they feel that, and they can then reciprocate that. Power and blessings to you. I'll see you soon.